What's up, people? Today we're gonna look into Vechain. Vechain is making some big moves. Yeah, here in South Africa. This is DHL South Africa. Yeah, gonna get straight into that. They're covering up some stuff on distributed ledger technology, and they've dived into it. I just want to read this quick, and then I'm gonna break down some stuff. So, blockchain removing complexity from global supply chains. Yeah, it's right there. Global supply chains are in the wording. That's VeChain, blockchain, and other distributed ledger technologies can facilitate greater trust and transparency among stakeholders and customers, helping to support the automation of administrative and commercial processes. This is Vitor, so another part of VeChain is Vitor. This is what it's when it comes to the can facilitate greater trust and transparency among stakeholders and customers, helping to support the automation of administrative and commercial processes. And there's also one of key developments and implications. You don't have to go through all of it, but let's just, given the inherent fragmentation and heterogeneity of global supply chains, which again, supply chain management ties into VeChain. The multitude of actors involved in global shipping, yeah, ports, all those tracking stuff ties into that. The need for transparency of financial flows, information flows, and material flows is no surprise that the supply chain leaders have a strong interest in blockchain. Okay, this part here does sound a little bit like XRP because Internet of Value, but all these tokens also have the same protocol as Internet of Value. So it's financial flow, information flows, and material flows. Yeah, but that is for on-demand liquidity. I don't see that in the place of supply chain management. It solves its purpose, but it needs to solve its purpose. Everything that's around this DHL. Well, this is a global company as well, so it's no doubt because I have seen they partnered, with VeChain, and I've seen some stuff, but not within my own country. And now seeing that, the South African branch of DHL is, adopting this technology, which is very interesting. So it talks about the traceability and transparency, which that also is something of VeChain's protocol and technology. Traceability and transparency reflects the market's need for a single source of truth in the supply chain. Yeah, that's what the sync browser. You can verify whether you know material asset, or what is the right word? Any object basically, to see whether it's replicated or is an original object. You see that through VeChain's sync browser and stuff like that, where they're making sure products are original. There's no counterfeit of products and all those juicy stuff, from raw material provenance to a product's end of life, according to deep dive analysis of the annual blockchain list in February 2020. Product traceability throughout production and the supply chain is the primary use case for blockchain adopting industry giants across multiple industry sectors. You can see this word has been thrown around a lot. Supply chain. So same commercial use. This I'm saying second part of VeChain Vita. This is where Vita and all those stuff comes in. They give you a full little bit of a rundown. Cryptocurrency as an alternative form of payment has been an historic breakout use case of blockchain tech. While volatility is still a concern, recent announcements and speculations of technology giants Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, each releasing their own digital currency in the next couple of years may fuel widespread consumers adoption once implemented. Okay, they tell you that. Amazon's using RippleNet. Google's cloud has their Hashgraph. I think they have this new currency that came out as well, Cypherium. Facebook, I've seen some stuff that they could be tied with, into the XRP ledger. Apple, same. Uh, yeah, but I'm not going into that part of it, and more focused on VeChain and what VeChain is doing. Although I do see those two are going to come together. Eventually, every crypto aligns itself because this is one ecosystem. They all will come together once everything is done with regulations and stuff like that. Yeah, and this Essentia is involved. Yeah, I think I don't need to tell you all about Essentia. Some of you guys already know what Essentia is up to and what they've been doing. Yeah, one of the partners of DHL happens to be PwC. Yeah, and before I get into the PwC, this was a global article that came out last year. I think this in October. With VeChain announces its partnership with DHL. And that document, the South African document, didn't state that VeChain is involved with DHL, but this global DHL kind of indicates that and where we're going. And let's see if you connect the dots, how deep VeChain is involved in this country uh, with the corruption that's going on in this country, and everything that's, I would say, under the waters. You're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. You're not really seeing the real stuff that's really going on. Yeah, because they keep that away from the public eye. You know, they got to do everything the way the powers that be want them to do it. And can't have the masses, ape into everything and stuff like that. Always program the masses. Yeah, look at PwC. This is an interesting document from PwC. This is actually from the Canada one, but eventually we're getting into a one world government. So all these countries and all this BS will eventually come together. In the time, you will see all these countries come together and stuff like that. Even though, yeah, from South Africa talking about this stuff, it does tie into the global DHL. You can see the United Nations Development Program, United Nations Global Compact, and the International Chamber of Commerce have established the COVID-19 Private Sector Global Facility, a global initiative and collaboration bringing together public and private sector partners to help local communities recover better from the pandemic. Dutch Post, DHL Group, Microsoft, and PwC Network. Yeah, that's how I'm going. DHL, PwC, they are working together. PwC, another big branch here in South Africa that's doing stuff with VeChain. They're on the VeChain website. I'm not gonna go into their website right now and discuss what VeChain is. If you want me to, you can comment below, and I'll probably do a video on that. And this is a deep like thing with DHL and all these other things in PwC. Now, the thing with PwC is they do have an agreement with Singapore. Yeah, I couldn't find that there, right? They do have an agreement. They do all the trading and stuff like that. And there's a bilateral agreement between the two of them and how they do stuff. VChains from Singapore. Uh, yeah. Let me look into what am I looking for now. Yeah, let's keep getting into this. Yeah, this is where yeah, this is the partnership with PwC. But if you connect it, you kind of see DHL and PwC coming together, and you can see VChain's also, yeah, partners. Just get into this. VChain has announced what the heck just happened. Yeah, VChain has announced a partnership with PricewaterhouseCoopers and is willing to help Lattice clients integrate distributed ledger technology into their activities. In terms of adoption, VeChain has been on quite the upward trend with the price of its native cryptocurrency very increasing over 400% in the last 2 months. Yeah, this is April 2021. I think VeChain sitting at I think around 4 cents at the moment in USD. The markets are at the time of this recording. Yeah, the markets I think are down. Yeah, I won't be putting too much of those kind of stuff. I just want to get into the more inside information because I don't want to look at charts every freaking day. I'm not a TA analysis, uh, and I really don't really look at charts that much. You can see in this video, I just get straight into it. If I want to go into charts, I'll join a space or something on Twitter, and I'll just like, yeah, these guys talking because I don't really look at charts that much. Yeah, where was I again? I was at VChain and yeah, PwC. Yeah, they partners with VChain. That's two down to get. Uh, what's interesting is with PwC, they work with the Port of Durban as well. Just to get into this and what VChain is really doing. Yeah, the Port of Durban, commonly called Durban Harbour, is the largest and busiest shipping terminal in the sub-Saharan. It handles up to 3.4 million tons of cargo each year. It's the fourth largest container terminal in the Southern Hemisphere, handling approximately 4.5 million TEU in 2019. Yeah, that's just like a couple of, let's see, probably nothing. Yeah, let's just go with that. Probably nothing. Now, Durban is the busiest port in South Africa and it generates more than 60% of its revenue. Uh, Supply chain management. I just counted two companies that are working with VChain. Happen to have an agreement with the shipping trade unions that bring in all the cargo that's about to get tracked, traced, all those stuff. VChain technology. What I've also found. Yeah, let me just explain what this bilateral agreement is before I get into that stuff. Because if some of the folks don't know, and I'm also learning this myself, bilateral agreement, what is sometimes referred to as a side deal, is a broad term simply to cover agreements between two parties. For international treaties, they can range from legal obligations to non-binding agreements of principles, often used as a precursor to the former. Yeah, so these two countries, like I'm saying, South Africa and Singapore, because I'm focusing on VChain right now. Yeah, there's that agreement, this bilateral agreement that they have when they're trading and shipping involved and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a clear term here in a bilateral trade agreement. The countries involved provide each other access to their markets, which leads to trade and economic growth. The agreement also creates an environment that promotes fairness, since a set of rules in business. What blockchain is going to promote fairness to make sure that products are not counterfeit is VChain, with their tracking traceability, ensuring that the codes and the stuff of those products are not counterfeit products, the original products, and it makes trading fair. It promotes fairness of trading from one country to another country. What interests me in this company is really quiet and get into it, but I actually didn't find the document I was looking for. I'm not sure if it's taken down, but this is a South Africa country commercial guide, and this is about the bilateral agreements, shipping agreements, trade unions, stuff like that. And I'm just going to cover up this first part. I'll drop a link below so you can read all of this. And they say the South African government views the country's ports and terminals as key engines For economic growth, South Africa is situated on one of the busiest international sea routes, critical to the international maritime transportation, and its geographical location presents a huge opportunity for investing in a diversified maritime market. Transnet National Ports Authority (TNPA), which is one of the five operating divisions of SOE Transnet, keep in mind Transnet is responsible for the safe, effective, economically efficient functioning of the national port system, encompassing eight commercial seaports, which it manages in a landlord capacity. This is the current organization structure in July 2021. The South African government has announced plans to address some of the port operation problems by creating a clear separation between the role of the infrastructure owner, which is the Transnet National Ports Authority, and terminal operators, which is the Transnet Port Terminals. It is hoped that the functional and legal separation of these roles, which are currently operating divisions of the same company, will enable each to be fulfilled more independently and with greater efficiency. Yeah. So this you can see when it comes to this bilateral agreements, trading unions, shipping cargo coming through and forth. Transnet happens to be in the front. And let's go and check what is Transnet, and then we're gonna find some interesting stuff, right? So Transnet SOC is a large South African rail, port and pipeline company headquartered in Carlton Center in Johannesburg. For some of you guys that are overseas, yeah, you'll pronounce that as that. It was formed as a limited company on 1st April 1990. A majority of company stocks is owned by the Department of Public Enterprises of DPE, South African government. The company was formed recruiting into business units operations of South African railway and harbors and other existing operations and products. That's what the line of work is. Now, I found this article, this was actually back in 2018, but they have never mentioned once that they're using Vechain. So, whatever I say on here ain't financial advice, this is all speculation. Yeah, because Transnet haven't mentioned this, so this is not financial advice. It's just speculation, guys. But let's look into this article. So it's a June 2018. Transnet to pilot blockchain solutions. Following a successful proof of concept study completed recently in conjunction with the South African Revenue Service, Transnet is ready to engage with industry on the use of blockchain technology in the supply chain. This word gets thrown a lot in social news. Like if you go through this video early on, I'm talking about supply chain and how VChain is like tying up to all this stuff. So yeah, just the verbiage there. Transnet spokesperson Malatwane Likete told FTW that the logistic group, which includes Transnet Freight Rail, Transnet Port Terminals, and Transnet National Port Authority, would soon roll out pilot projects to further test the waters around blockchain technology. Transnet is planning several industry engagements to showcase the proof of study work conducted. We are also engaging our leadership and operating divisions to identify potential areas where blockchain technology can be deployed. He said nothing that further discussions and collaboration with SARS were also in the pipeline. I don't like SARS whatsoever. Lekete explained that the 6-month-long proof-of-concept study was launched so that Transnet could fully understand the technology required to support the needs of customers in business in an Industry 4.0 ecosystem. The technology was successfully tested and were able to simulate a complete container import process using smart contracts in the blockchain. I think they meant to say contracts, but they've put contacts. He said that the benefits of the technology included reducing the cost of doing business and moving away from manual document handling. The cost of delays associated with manual document handling and approval processes are quite extensive. A digital platform would ensure much faster automation and submission processes. There would be a single version of truth on the blockchain that ensuring integrity of information. Truth on the blockchain, ensuring integrity of information. So the first part we've seen supply chain management, truth, making sure that a product is valid with honest information, ensuring the integrity of the information is to ensure that this is not a counterfeit item that's being transported, traceability, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to products, that's where VChain comes in. Just single keywords in certain documents. If you just look to GitHub to see it, you can see it for what it really is. Because they ain't really gonna come out the open and say, I'm using VChain. Nah, they ain't gonna do that. They're a large company in South Africa. All this stuff needs to be kept under the iceberg for the point of time. They're not gonna come out the gate and tell you they're using VChain. Nah, nah, nah. That ain't happening. He conceded that there will be two challenges around the adoption of such new technology, both within Transnet and the wider industry. He reiterated that the group would likely undertake pilot projects between a smaller grouping of customers and suppliers to prove that this technology could address current operational challenges and significantly reduce the cost of doing business. We have conceptually proven that the technology works, but the acid test is now to operationalize solutions, and for that we will need customer suppliers and statutory bodies to embrace the new digital platform. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. They need these bodies, right? When they talk about bodies, they're talking about other countries, other corporations. They need to have structured agreements upon signing everything when they're doing these trades, so all these trades can be fair. But yeah, DHL involved in shipping, these dudes, Transnet involved in shipping, involved in train and cargo and all those, every form of it. So I just showed you every aspect of how these guys are linked with VChain technology. I'll drop links below where you can read it and then you can rip it apart, and you can come up with your own uh, theory of what's going on here uh, with VChain technology. But you guys just have a good day. I'm out.